strong enough to bear the burdens that sometimes comes living this thing called life. Am I wise enough to make the right decisions when I'm standing at the fork in the road? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone, and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God is, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. Will I have enough to do the things I need to do to take care of myself? Will I have the health of mind and body to live the life of grace and holiness? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone, and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. Oh, I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place. Where God you are the place. We are the place where God shows up. Sing it with us now. Come on. I am the place. You are the place. We are the place where God shows up. Oh, I am the place. You are the place. We are the place where God shows up. Oh, I am the place. You are the place. We are the place where God shows up. All right. Thank you, everyone.
That's what my mug says. I am the place where God shows up. That's the end of the call. Good morning. I'm Reverend Michael Everett Davis, and welcome to Unity of Indianapolis. I was going to say this toward the end of the talk. I'm going to say it now, because now is the time. A couple weeks ago, during my talk, I invited everyone to start using joy as a spiritual practice. If you see a stranger smiling on the street, let that be a reminder to smile, to have joy in your life, to celebrate transitions or changes in your life. Toast to that new position at work, or toast to retirement, or toast to I woke up this morning, yay! And where did I have the... Anyway, I'm going to improvise. That's what I'm going to do. That was part of my talk on July 3rd. And on July 5th, our dear beloved Jack Pomeroy made his transition. But this is exactly how Jack lived his life. I had the honor of attending his service yesterday evening, and it was not a traditional memorial. It wasn't even a traditional celebration of life. I don't know that a tear was shed because we celebrated, and it was exactly what Jack wanted. People started gathering at 4 o'clock, and at 5 o'clock, it was cocktail hour. There was a spread of cheese and crackers and nuts and fruit, and you had your choice of a white rosé or a red wine. And then we watched a video that was narrated by Jack himself, telling of his life and some stories. And so it truly was, Jack brought joy. Joy was a way of life for him. So I want to, again, invite us, or even challenge us, to use Jack as the example of how to live life to its fullest with joy in every moment, in every day. So we started out this morning's service started out with singing "God is my source." This reflects Unity's principle number 1, that God is all there is only one presence. And this concept of one presence continued as we sang "God you are." God, you are every mountain, every springtime, every snowfall, every midnight, every second of my life. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. Because you are the very breath I breathe, and your perfect love created me. Unity principle number 2, right? We are created in the image of the divine, and our very essence is divine. Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, said, "God is spirit, in whom we live and move and have our being," which is from a verse in Acts. But God is spirit, in whom we live and move and have our being. And as Thomas just sang, the words from Eddie Watkins Jr.'s song, "I am the place where God lives and moves and has its being." We live and breathe and move and have our being in the divine, in God, and God, the divine, the universe, lives and breathes and has its being in us at the same time. We are one. We are all a part of the universe. Charles Fillmore also said, "We are the offspring of the Spirit and can make conscious contact with it by turning our attention away from the material things and thinking about spirit. As we practice this kind of prayer, our innate spirit showers its life energies into our conscious mind, and a great soul expansion follows." When we turn our attention away from the material and into the spirit, its life energies, and we put those life energies into our conscious mind, a great soul expansion follows. Matthew 6, 5 through 9. And when you pray, you must not be like the hypocrites, for they love to stand and pray in the synagogues and on the street corners and on the 50-yard line, that they may be seen by others. Truly, I say to you, they have received their reward. But when you pray, go into your own room and shut the door and pray to your Father who is in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you. Go to your room, go inside, go deep, go into the soul level of yourself, not the worldly part of yourself, go deep into the soul. That's where God is. And it continues in Matthew, and when you pray, do not heap up empty phrases as the Gentiles do, for they think that they will be heard for their many words. Do not be like them, for your Father knows what you need before you ask him. If we're living and having our being in the divine, and the divine is living and having its being in us, it already knows. It already knows. Words aren't necessary. You can go within, you can go to your secret room, you can close the door and just be. God knows. But at the end of this, Jesus said, do not be like them, for your Father knows what you need before you ask him. Pray then like this. And that is where the Lord's Prayer is in the Scripture. I'm going to assume the majority of us know the Lord's Prayer. We could recite it now, because many of us were raised up in the Christian tradition, and we memorized it, we know it, and we have said it thousands and thousands, if not millions of times. But the Lord's Prayer has actually become what Jesus told us not to do. It has become words that have no meaning. And yet many people recite it every day, perhaps. They say the words, but that's just it. They say the words. Do they know what it means? Is it coming from the heart? Is it coming from the gut? Or is it just, I need to say these words because I'm supposed to? It's a learned thing. I am supposed to say this prayer. Again, Fillmore said, we are the offspring of the Spirit and can make conscious contact with it by turning our attention away from the material things and thinking about spirit. As we practice this kind of prayer, our innate spirit showers its life energies into our conscious mind, and a great soul expansion follows. So what is this kind of prayer that Fillmore is talking about? I believe he is referring to contemplative prayer or meditation. I'm not going to split hairs on the difference between the two because they are so close to the same. But it's letting go of our thoughts, or as we sang earlier, letting go of the shore, letting go of that familiar, letting go of the words, just letting go and surrendering to God, to the universe, and floating into that, where we just sit in the silence. Last week, when I was at work at the Simulation Center for IU Health, I noticed that one of my friends was reading Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now. I haven't read the book, but I know it existed. And we probably talked for 20 minutes. And he was going through the book, and it was like, and he says this, and I was able to explain some of it, and I was getting a new understanding as well as he would read sections to me. But it was a very meaningful conversation in which I reminded, that's part of my vow of ministry, is to have meaningful conversations. But then it's turned out there's been another time we've talked about it again since. But I was also reminded then that our friend Faith Rivera, who's a singer and songwriter, wrote a song called The Power of Now, based off of the experiences and the teachings in that book, which is a very condensed thought and idea of it. But that was the inspiration for this talk. And the reason why I've gone through, and just to remind us that we are a part of the divine is in us and we are in the divine, is that we can connect. As Fillmore said, we can connect at any moment. Actually, we're already connected, but we can have a conversation at any moment by going within. Eckhart Tolle says, people look to time in expectation that it will eventually make them happy. But you cannot find true happiness by looking toward the future. Nothing has happened in the past. Nothing will happen in the future. It only happens now. Tolle also says, don't look for peace. Don't look for any other state than the one you are in now. Otherwise, you will set up inner conflict and unconscious resistance. Forgive yourself for not being at peace. The moment you completely accept your non-peace becomes transmuted into peace. Anything you accept fully will get you there, will take you into peace. Anything that you accept fully will take you into peace. This is the miracle of surrender. And so last week, I looked for a podcast on the power of now, and I found an interview with Oprah Winfrey interviewing Eckhart Tolle about a different book. But the conversation was fascinating. And in that conversation, Eckhart Tolle was talking about the divide in our country that we have, divide politically, spiritually, religiously, all of the divides. And this happens when you allow ego to attach itself to your beliefs. When you let ego attach to your beliefs, then you start identifying as your beliefs. And when you identify as your beliefs, you close off and you're not open to listen to others and accept others who have different beliefs because you have that solid identity in it. And so what I believe Tolle is saying in the power of now is letting go of that attachment of the ego with the belief system. You can have your belief systems. You can have a strong belief system, but leave your ego out of it. And also in that conversation was talking about we as, in New Thought, we as metaphysics students, we can often do spiritual malpractice where we start to blame ourselves and blame other people. It's like, well, our thoughts create, unity principle number 3, our thoughts create our reality, and oh my gosh, you're going through this terrible time, what were you thinking to bring that on, right? And you start to blame yourself and you put all this stuff on you, and this is a really hard thing for me to wrap my head around. I'm working on it, and I want to share it with you as well. And something that he had said is when you're going through something, it doesn't matter if it's something heavy, something sad, something tragic, something light, something happy, treat them all the same as if it is what you had asked for. If you think, I asked for this experience, oh, this is for me. We've said this before. Things aren't happening to me, they're happening for me. If I asked for this experience on the soul level before entering this realm, Conversations with God, Neil Donald DeMaul speaks of that and Dr. Sue Morter talks about that as well, the bus stop thing. Before you enter this life, you sit at the bus stop and it's like, I want to experience this next thing in my next life. Oh, okay, I'll help you with that. So you ask for it in a way. that can if you think of it as I wished for this, so that can help you change it to it's not happening to me, it's happening for me. This is a part of my experience that I am supposed to live on this earth. So the power of now. Everything that ever has been or will be happens now. Nothing has happened in the past. Nothing will happen in the future. It all happens now. The rest of this service, we're going to practice the power of now. Tully's book is full of concepts of releasing our ego thoughts or thoughts of the worldly things. If you haven't read the book, read it. I plan to. Today, I just want to focus on how we can practice the power of now. And this meditation that I'm going to do, I've taken it from some things that I found on how to practice the power of now. So we're going to go through these. It's several things. We're going to go through all of them. There may be one that you may want to take with you and practice it every day. Add it to your own spiritual practice. So it's a combination of those and Faith Rivera's song, The Power of Now. So I invite you to go ahead. Can we lower the lights, please? Thank you, Mike. Find yourselves as comfortable as you can be in your chair. Let it support you. Okay. Close your eyes if you're comfortable, or just lower your gaze. And as I walk over to the piano, just take a few conscious breaths in and out. Focusing in on your breath. And let this music and let these words take you deep into your soul self, into your capital U, capital Y, O-U. Present, nowhere to be than where you are. The power of now flows oh so gracefully. The power of now is always perfect, nothing to be than who you are. The power of now flows oh so easily. Be willing to let go of everything you think you need to know. Oh, be strong enough to let go of everything you think you need to control, for everything goes away. Let everything wash away. The power of now. The power of now is ever flowing, connecting us all to the one. The power of now unfolds so peacefully. Be willing to let go of everything you think you need to know. Oh, be strong enough to let go of everything you think you need to control, for everything goes away. Let everything wash away. The power of now. The power of now. The power of now. The power of Take a deep breath in. Hold it and release. Take another breath in, conscious breath in, and hold it and let it out. Releasing any tension. And now releasing the conscious control of your breath and letting your breath be natural without thought. Focus in on your hands. Try feeling them. Feel the energy within them. Just your hands. Feeling the energy moving in and out. Receiving, giving. Now try to feel your entire body. Feeling just your hands might be easier at the beginning of this practice. When you're able to do that, then try to feel your whole body. Scan your body, feel the energy inside. You can try to feel different parts of your body, one at a time. And then feel it as a whole. If you find it difficult, forgive yourself. Release those feelings and focus in on your hands or focus in on your breath. Or you can listen to the silence around you. There's always a dimension of silence around you. Listen to this. It diverts the attention from thinking mind to the present moment. Just listen to the silence. Accept everything as it is now. The present moment is as it is. Surrender yourself to the present moment. Don't think, don't assess, don't judge. Let go. Float in the mystery. Try to observe your own mind. Wait for your next thought. Observe your mind as a rabbit hole. Wait for the next thought. What thought will come out next? Wait for it. Observe your mind. If a thought appears, let it go. Return to the presence and wait for your next thought. And let it go and return into the presence of the divine. And as you are releasing the thoughts, letting them drift away and going deeper within the soul, deeper within the divine, again, try to feel your body. Is there something within your body you feel? Notice it. Acknowledge it. Let the thought drift away. Go back into now. Focus again on your hands and the energy that surrounds them. And now Now focus back into your breath. As we take a deep breath in and hold and release. Breathing in and breathing out. And letting your breath go back to natural. And bring your attention back to the room. Tolle says, as soon as you honor the present moment, all unhappiness and struggle dissolve, and life begins to flow with joy and ease. When you act out the present moment awareness, whatever you do becomes imbued with a sense of quality, care, and love. Even the most simple action. Fillmore said, we are the offspring of this spirit and can make conscious contact with it by turning our attention away from material things and thinking about spirit. As we practice this kind of prayer, our innate spirit showers its life energies into our conscious mind, and a great soul expansion follows. When we focus on our soul, in our spirit, in the now, and we bring that out into our life here in the worldly, we come out at a higher conscious level. And we can raise the consciousness of those around us by doing so. A great soul expansion. I skipped our affirmation, but I was going to come back around to it here. So if you can bring our affirmation up, Sue, that would be awesome. This month's affirmation, as we affirm our worthiness of happiness and joy. I am worthy of happiness. I deserve to feel good. And then there's an ellipses. That's for you to fill it in with whatever you want to feel good and happy about. I claim my joy now. Today, those ellipses is in this moment. I am worthy of happiness. I deserve to feel good in this moment. And I claim my joy now. Let's do that together. I am worthy of happiness. I deserve to be feel good now. You guys are great. I am worthy of happiness. I deserve to feel good in this moment, and I do. And I claim my joy now. Eckhart Tolle says, people look into time expecting that it will eventually make them happy. But you cannot find true happiness by looking toward the future. In Ecclesiastes, it says, for everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. There is a time for everything. Everything has its time in the now. We cannot reap every day if we have not planted. We cannot reap what we have not sown. We can plant every day. We can go deep within. We can go into our soul self with the divine, and we can plant those seeds. but we can't reap them until it is time. For when it is now is the time to reap that. We can see social injustice. We can plant the seed now to correct that. Seeds have already been planted. Many seeds have been planted, and we have harvested the good from those. As when the time comes, we harvest them. There are still more seeds to plant for harvest at another time, because we can't harvest that until we do this. Unity principle number 5, we know these truths. We need to take the steps towards them. For everything there is a season. Everything has a time. Charles Fillmore said, turning our attention away from material things and thinking about spirit. Spirit is now. God is now. The universe is now. You are now. And the time is now.